Good morning to all of you. In the previous two lectures, you have been given the glimpse of what are the various therapeutic aspects like panchakarma and some other medicines which Dr. Sharma talked about. I am going to talk what are the Ayurvedic formulations, what are the dosage forms which are very well described in Ayurveda, and what are their techniques, how these are getting accumulated, getting formulated in such a way that the efficacy and active principles of those particular herbs getting preserved so that these formulations remain in their best effective stage. So this is the beauty of herbal formulary, which is very well described at length in every text in Ayurveda, and most of the Ayurvedic physicians are using these Ayurvedic formulations in their original form so that their patients can get best out of it. So let me ask one question. Anyone here who ever not have used any of the Ayurvedic medicines? I am sure each one of us is using Ayurvedic medicines, Ayurvedic formulations all the 3 times of the day, be it a lunch, be it dinner, be it breakfast. Just Dr. Sharma have talked about turmeric. Turmeric and cumin and vulgar, funiculum vulgar, the saunf, they are all the time used. Yesterday there was a stall of some herbal tea, masala tea. What is this? These are all the Ayurvedic formulations. I mean the drug delivery system. How the active principle of drug is better delivered to the body. This is what the Ayurvedic formulation and Ayurvedic formulary is. So let me start. A very important Ayurvedic formulation is Panchvid Kashay Kalpana. The 5 types of preparation which are basically designed to deliver the best active principle to the body in the best natural form. The first one is the swaras. You know, swaras is the juice, the fresh juice of any herb. It is the best one. If any herb is used to its natural form, that is the swaras. We cannot have a lot of herbs to eat, but we can use the juice out of it, and the all active principles are well preserved in their natural form. There is no modification. Only we are getting juice out of it. We are not subjecting to any kind of modification to that herb. So it is best giving effect in every aspect. If anybody is to use any green herbs, it has to be used in its swaras form, its juice form. The one more thing, a lot has been said. Dr. Sharma just said 25% of the pharmacopoeia is being used from getting active principles. In fact, this is the wrong practice. Herbs are better used as a holistic one. No extraction is permissible from a herb, because in the natural quality, if any active principle of that herb is doing effect to the body, at the same time there may be some other principle, other active principle which can do some harms also. So getting active principle always produce some harm to the body unless we use that herb in a whole form. Those side effects cannot be getting taken care of or getting minimized. So the idea of using whole herb is that the whatever effects are there in the body is in totalistic, so that the body gets only the desired effect, not to the untoward effect. So this is the very idea of using swaras, and that too in very, very natural form. The kalk or the pest. If any herb, be it green or semi-dried, then in totality it can be used in the form of kalk or make it a paste like with any of the liquid, either water or some other supportive liquid. It may be milk, it may be some other fruit juice. It is grinded and make into paste like, so that again the whole herb is being used. This is the another way of using the whole herb and getting the best effect out of it. The next one, the hymn. Hymn is, we all use sometime dip some of the herb in cold water. The idea is the essence and volatile substances of those herbs may not get evaporated, so that they are simply dipped in the cold water. Keep it more than 12 hours, better overnight. If in the next morning you have to take the hemp form of formulation, so it is better in the previous evening you just dip those medicines in sufficient amount of water, and in the next morning just decant it and use it. This is a hemp form of formulation, and the idea of hemp formulation is that the active principles, those are volatiles, remain in their natural forms and the best effect can be achieved. Similarly, the other form is the font. We are all the time using the font form of formulation. We use the dip type of tea. Sachets, we use dip in the hot water and then we drink it. This is the font formulation. The preparation which are not having volatile substances, they are grinded into some microforms and then dip into the hot water, so that their active principles in total dissolve in the hot water, then leave it for some time, get it decanted, and then it can be given to the patient. It can be used. So we are doing in the dip type of tea preparation. This is the active principles which are not volatile, they are only dissolved in water. This kind of formulation is the font preparation. And the last is the decoction. Decoction or the kasai. This is very, very widely used in Ayurvedic pharmacopoeia. There are more than thousands kind of kasai described. And the idea is, at the same time, we can use more than one kind of herb and those kind of herbs which have active principle needed to be dissolved in water, not having the aromatic or the essential component. They are being mixed. Some grinding is there to reduce the form, and then go on boiling into water. This is the idea here. The various techniques of decoction preparation or the kashaya preparation is there. If we are to use the green or soft kind of herbs, then we have to use the fourth times the quantity of water. I mean, if we are to use 50 gram of herbs, then we need at least 200 gram of water to boil it. It is the idea that if it is soft herb, green herb, it needs less amount of water to dissolve the active principles. But at the same time, if the drug is dried but not so hard, then the amount of water needed is double, that is 8 times. But you have to understood that this amount of water we are using, all the time we are go on boiling to get it reduced to the 1/4. If we are using 200 ml of water, we go on boiling to reduce it to the 50 ml. This is the idea that all the active principles are better dissolved, very well dissolved, so that the efficacy of the drug remain maintained. And at the same time, if more than one kind of herb are being mixed, so sufficient amount of water should be there, so that all the herbs extracted to the liquid. If the drug is very dried and hard, then again we need the more higher quantity of water. It is the 16th time the amount of drug we are using, and again we go on reducing to the 1/8 part, so that the extraction is better, it is complete, and at the same time the formulation is getting concentrated also. And lastly, if it is very hard, if the drug some kind of wood is there, then it is the concept that it has first reduce the size of the drug and then adds 32 times water and go on boiling and ultimately reduce it to the 1/8 part, so that the best extraction, water extraction can be have from a very hard wood. This is a one kind of kashaya or the decoction preparation techniques, and there are more than hundreds formulation of kashaya through from the north to the south. They are equally used and effectively used, and better form of formulation. So instant results are there. If we are extracting the drugs in best of their natural form and the highest concentration of active principles are there, the instant effectiveness of the drug is maintained and can be achieved. This is the beauty of these kashaya formations. On the other hand, when we are not using the fresh form of the drug, then we need to some kind of preserved formulation, because while using the Ayurvedic pharmacopoeia, it is not possible for a physician all the time to get the fresh herbs from the nature. So for the practice purpose, one has to preserve those herbs for the other seasons when these herbs are not being available in their natural forms. So this is the idea of preserving the drugs in other kind of formulation, like churn. When more than one kind of drugs are to be used and not available in their natural forms, so drugs are collected, getting shadow dried, not in the direct sunlight. They are dried in the shadow. They are first getting cleaned up and then finally powdered. But the idea of using powder on one hand is to make availability of the drugs on the other season. At the same time, the efficacy of the drug should be maintained. At the same time, the drug should be preserved as well. So every churn formulation is designed to use either some kind of natural preservative, what we call it, either it is a jaggery or it is salt or some other kind of some elemental component which works as a natural preservative. But it is to be understood that the churn shelf life is very less. It is ideally 6 months and it can be up to the 1 year. But once churn is formulated, it should not be used beyond 1 year. This is the strict norms. So churns are only preserved for short lifespan. But if we need to preserve the drug for more longer period, some other forms of formulations are required. So these are the butty tablets. Tablets are designed for long-term preservation. At the same time, asav and arist. Again, the asav and arist are sharing the sizable percentage of Ayurvedic pharmacopoeia. They are the self-generating alcohol formulation. You just see the beauty of Ayurvedic formulary. No outside alcohol is used. Alcohol is on one hand doing the purpose of preservation, and on the other hand it serves the purpose of extraction as well. Also arist, these are the preparation which contains the self-generated alcohol 8 to 10%, and at the same time the best extraction, be it water soluble, be it alcohol soluble, both kind of extraction of active principles are there in asav arist. The difference in asav arist is that those herbs which are having the active principle and volatile substances, they are made into asav form because they are not subjected to the boiling or fire. But at the same time the arist are subjected to the boiling. So the active principles which are not volatile, those kind of herbs are being used in the arist preparation. But in both the formulation asav or arist, there are 8 to 10% self-generated alcohol, so that the whole herb extraction is available, either it a water extraction or it a alcoholic extraction, and long-term preservation of the drug is possible, be it more than years, 3, 4, 5 years, easily drugs are being preserved. Next, the ghana sattva. Ghana sattva are the dried decoction. We just have told you the decoction, but if you have to keep those decoctions for even longer period, you have to convert them into dried form. Once the decoction is being prepared, then again go on boiling to make it dry, to make it dry and make it into tablet form or capsule form or whatever you like. This, the ghan formulation, can be kept over the years in their natural active principle forms and their efficacy is maintained. Again, the avaleh, you might have heard about the Chyawanprash. Chyawanprash is the best rasayana for the body from Ayurveda. It is widely used in India and I am sure in other countries also. Chyawanprash is a kind of dosage formulation which is semi-paste like. It can be taken with a spoon. It is not so hard, but it is not so liquefied. It is in between the solid and liquid. It is semi-solid like, and the idea is more than 20, 30, even 50 kind of drugs are being used in avaleh, designed to deliver the efficacy towards a particular disease. So the similar nature of drugs which are having effect in a particular system, in a particular group of disorders, so that they are made into avaleh form. At the same time, the idea of palatability, some bitter drugs, some bitter decoction may not be preferred by the children's or the some ladies, and at the same time the others some patients are very choosy. They don't like to take either it is a churn form, the powder form, or it is the decoction form, but they prefer this kind of formulation, avaleh formulation. So the whole idea that the effectiveness of the drug remain preserved, at the same time the longevity of the drug is maintained, but at the same time the choice of patient is kept into consideration. So for the children's or the other people who don't like the other formulation, I am sure they like this kind of avaleh formulation. Then the modak or a small ball like formulation. This much size of a ball of drugs is being formulated in this kind of formulation, modak. Here the idea is to deliver the maximum amount of drug in one bolus. Maximum amount of drug in one bolus. Usually we used to deliver 3 to 5 grams of either chewed or 1 to 2 grams of tablets, but when we need to deliver 10 to 20 or 30 gram of Ayurvedic drug formulation, and at the same time it should be well preserved also, then this kind of formulation, the modak or the small laddu or the small ball like formulation are designed. Now the self-preservation idea. In Ayurvedic pharmacopoeia, there is no outside preservation. The idea is there should be self-generated life of the drug. It should be made in such a form that the active principles of that drug is again acting as a preservative as well. So the avaleh, just we have talked about, it containing some jaggery amount which is acting as a preservative as well in their natural form. At the same time, asavarist is there, which is having 8 to 10% of alcohol, which acts as a preservative. Then ghee, Dr. Sharma has just talked about the ghee. The Indian cow's ghee are again used in the Ayurvedic formulation. It is said in Ayurveda, when there is description of ghee, it is of cow ghee, and when there is description of milk, it is of cow milk. So, unless otherwise described, you take it granted it is cow ghee or the cow milk, and it has very good shelf life, maybe more than 100 years. Ghee and oils are having very long life. Then again the ghan, the dry decoction preparation, which is having self preservation. Rasa preparation. A lot has been talked about the Ayurvedic formulation, which is containing mercury and sulfur, some other kind of minerals and bhasma as well, but there is a large group of preparation which is containing mercury and metallic preparation, that is bhasma. But the beauty of the drug formulation, that these mercury or the other metallic preparations are so formulated and so detoxified and so prepared in their natural form that they are better assimilated in the body, having no toxic effect on any kind of organ of the body, either liver or kidney or any other organs. Have long list of research publications on these formulations. If they are prescribed in their natural formulation techniques, they are formulated as per their specified techniques, they are not at all toxic to the body, even they can be used for a longer time, and the highest efficacy, or in case of emergency, if any Ayurvedic pharmacopoeia is prescribed, that are these kind of formulations, the rasa preparation having mercury and metallic preparation. Then the bhasma as well, and the sindoor. Sindoor formulation is a kind of a special formulation which contains mercury, sulfur and gold as well, sometimes some silver metals also. So this is again a kind of formulation which is having highest efficacy, but at the same time not toxic to the body. Some dietary formulations are there. While discussing on Panchakarma, Dr. Jain described the post Panchakarma period is specifically using these kind of dietary formulations, peya, mund, bilepi. So they are prepared out of boiled rice. Naturally, the amount of water in that preparation is higher in peya than in of moderate amount of water in bilepi, highest in the mund. 24th time the water is taken, the rice is being boiled. So very small amount of rice remains in the peya. It is not at all rice content in the mund, and some quantity of rice remains in the bilepi, and the krisara is the completely cooked form of rice with some other pulses and other kind of dietary stuff. So these are the dietary formulations also, but they are again being used as a medicine, not as a diet. If you have to prescribe any medicine, sometime it is prescribed with the mund, sometime it is prescribed with the peya. Various kind of peya preparations are there. So they are freshly prepared and used with the drugs, so that Ayurvedic formulation, that drug provide the best effect with these kind of formulation. As a varist, we have talk about, they are first collect the drug, purify it, sacrifice it, and then accumulate it, reduce to the size, not needed to be microfine, just like to the granules, and then decide either they are to be formulated into aso form or in the arist form. If you are to prepare the arist, get decoction of it. Otherwise, directly put these micro herbs in an earthen pot or the wooden pot. You just see they are advised to be kept in either earthen pot or the wooden pot, and a specific kind of wood is again prescribed, so that keeping those herbs with water for a long time, because there is fermentation, there is the process of fermentation is there, so the pot is specially chosen. It should be neutral one, it should not affect to the process of fermentation, and at the same time it should not change the efficacy of drug also, and at the same time should not be self affected. Otherwise, on the vice versa is possible. The herbs or the water which are present inside the vessel, it can affect the vessel as well. So the neutrality of the both side should be maintained. So they are to be kept tightly closed, so that there is a process of fermentation is there. Once fermentation is complete, open it, decant it, and then it can be ready to use. This is along the process which I have just described. Asavarists are the formulations which have longer shelf life. They are better stored in the cool and away from light amber colored bottles, so that they are not getting affected from the outside radiation and the solar effect. Thus they are kept effective longer time. These are some other kind of preparation which we have just talked about. Avalehe, leha, leham, and some other kind of paste or semi-solid preparation. They are prepared comprising of decoctions and jaggery, sugar or honey, powder or pulp of drugs, ghee or oil. These all kind of constituents are subjected to the some first jaggery is prepared into a liquid like jelly like preparation, then some ghee and oil is added, and then the herbs are added and boil into a state where semi solid state is achieved, and then keep it preserved. The jaggery and the sometimes salt in containing in that preparation, it preserve as well. No outside preservation is required, and you can keep it even more than years. Chavanpras is one kind of preparation which is avaleh, and it is being served in the market for years. I hope my personal experience as well. Sometime I just keep on that Chavanpras for more than 8 years. No fungus grows, no any kind of contamination there. It is still in their natural form and best preserved form without any outside preservative. So this is the beauty of Ayurvedic formulations. Properties of avale: it can be lifted with a spoon. It all the time used with a spoon. When pressed between finger, there is thread formation is there. Sink in water without getting easily dissolved. Instantly it doesn't dissolve in water unless it is well shaken and kept for longer time. And components of leh are easily absorbed from the body by the body starting from the mouth, because there is some kind of extraction is there. So right from the mouth the effect is started. So this is the beauty of this kind of formulation. Now we need to spend some time on the bhasma. A lot of myths, a lot of controversy is about the bhasmas in various kind of discussions. Sometimes it is being said that these are the toxic preparations. Well, if they are not prepared in their specified manner, they may be toxic. But when any bhasma is prepared as per the specification given in Ayurvedic text, be it a gold bhasma, be it a silver bhasma, be it a copper, be it a lead bhasma, they are totally non-toxic and they are quite effective. But you see how they are prepared. Of bhasma preparation step is, first there is shodhan, there is purification. A specified purification technique is described for each and every metal. It is not universalized. Each and every metal has its own specified kind of purification technique. It sometimes uses some juices, it sometimes uses water, it sometimes used milk, it sometimes used some kind of a mixture of juices. So there is a specified technique of purification. Once metal is purified, then the next stage is subjected the marana. Again there is a specified technique. There are some constituents which are being used for the getting them soft, so that in the next stage they are broken down. So the next stage is jaran. They are subjected to the fire. Put, a special kind of technique which is called put is there. They are getting subjected to the fire into the between the cow dungs, and there is a specified amount of cow dungs, there is specified amount of the pot in which there is jaran techniques, and there is number of jaran. It is not only it can be made microfine into ones. Sometimes 100 jaran, 100 putta are there. Even sometimes 1000 putta are there. So the hardness of bhasma decides the number of putta required, number of fire treatment requires. So based on these techniques, if any metals are being prepared, so there is no doubt they are quite safe. They are not at all toxic to the body. At the same time, they are better effective and can be used even in emergency also. These are the some bhasma described, and their main ingredients are their oxides. In loha bhasma, in lead are the mica or the abhrak bhasma, gold and silver. They are what kind of form is being used for the bhasma formation. At the same time, tel, the oil preparation, ghee and oils, as Dr. Sharma has just talked about, there are some drugs which are effective only when they are fat bound, they are lipid bound. So oil and ghee are such kind of preparation which are designed to deliver the drugs even to the brain. There are so many medical peoples which might be knowing very well, the CSF brain barrier is crossed only with the lipid bound quality. So any drug which is designed to deliver to the brain needed to be the lipid bound, and oil and ghee are such kind of formulation designed in Ayurveda which deliver to their effect even to the brain level effectively. So these are the self-preserved and highly effective kind of formulation, oil and ghee. The Ayurveda have a number of formulation, but the idea is use them in their natural form and use them in holistic form, so no isolated extraction is required. So this is the idea, and this is how the Ayurvedic pharmacopoeia is being used about. Thank you.